Vice President Kamala Harris visited Guatemala today in an overdue attempt to address America's immigration crisis. She still hasn't visited the border, though, but don't expect the press to give her a hard time about it. Why? Because she's paying them off with Kamala cookies. The vice president slipping members of the media flying on Air Force Two. Some of those, it looks like a sweet treat. It's hard to say. This is a frosted cookie of herself. However, there is clearly no face. I don't understand that. It's just the latest example of the Biden administration's cozy relationship with the press. I give you a cookie, you sugarcoat how I'm doing. Here now, James Golden, also known as Bo Snerdley of the Rush Limbaugh Show and now weekly host on 77 WABC New York Radio. Well, sir, it is an honor and a pleasure to talk with you. We know each other virtually on social media. Millions of Americans know you, obviously, for radio and Rush and social media. I've admired you for so long, and it is an honor to have you sitting here today. Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. And you know what? It's my pleasure and my honor to be with you. I have admired your work. You are a legend in our industry, so I'm glad you have me with you today.
Well, thank you. And you know what I love about this pairing, and I want to get into some of the faux pas and the lack of judgment with the cookies, and those are small things that actually give us a larger story. But I think that the two of us are not what people expect and what the left does not want Americans to know, the kind of people that are attracted to the conservative ideal, that have contributed to the conservative ideal. I'm a gay woman. A lot of people don't know that. I bring it up when it's relevant to the topic at hand. But when it comes to minorities, it's the conservative ideal. I think you would agree that especially is important in our lives, in our efforts to be able to be free, to direct our own lives.
Absolutely. I want to talk about those cookies for a minute.
Yes.
Now, if I offered you a faceless Kamala cookie,
yes,
would you eat it?
Well, see, that's the weird thing. She's expecting the members of the press to eat her head. This is, you know, when you're thinking about, and this seems like a small thing, people making fun of it, but isn't this an issue about judgment? And somebody along the line, this had to go through many people that thought it was a good idea, James.
But how narcissistic do you have to be if you're going to hand out cookies, that are clearly supposed to be of yourself?
That's right.
With no face. No face. And, you know, this is the same media that finds this amusing, that went full bore trying to call Donald Trump such a horrid person because he had 2 scoops of ice cream when he was served in the White House, and guess why they only got 1 scoop. And that was a big scandal. Meanwhile, as you pointed out, she's never been to the southern border. We have an emergency at the border. We have human suffering in proportions that are horrid, that are happening every single day. We have American agents who are risking their lives every single moment. We have more fentanyl coming in through the Biden border, which is wide open, than we have had in decades. We have enough fentanyl coming in, I understand, from Mr. Holman, that to kill every single American twice over. And nothing's being done about this.
Wow.
Nothing's being done about the sex trafficking at the borders and how that's hurting minority women. Nothing is being done at all toward our national security. There could be all sorts of terrorists coming in. We're supposed to be connecting the dots. We're not connecting anything in the borders except release. And now, from the latest move is that Donald Trump's policy of keeping people in Mexico while their asylum status is being checked is no longer being checked at all. Just bring them in the United States, release people, no court date, just release them.
That's over now.
And what do? We hand out Kamala cookies.
You see, and this is for a party that says that they are the champions of people of color, that they're here to save people of color from the evil conservatives. Here you have Chicago. It's a bloodbath. You've got, the drug issues. Now with the border more open, are going to become more serious. And these are the lives that are being destroyed, black lives and brown lives. And they move along blithely as though no one's going to notice. But now we know people of color are not voting for Democrats. The Democrats have realized with certain research and studies that that's the case. Do you think that is going to show up more in 2022 when it comes to who people of color vote for and what they've realized in this framework?
I think that if Republicans do what they're supposed to do, which is to embrace the Trump agenda, that you will see more Black, Hispanic, women, Asian votes moving toward the Republican Party. Let's face facts. It wasn't the establishment Republicans that made these moves happen.
Yeah.
It was Donald Trump directly addressing people in these various communities.
Yeah.
In some cases asking, what the hell do you have to lose? In the other cases, keeping the promises.
Exactly.
I'm going to bring prosperity, he said.
Right.
And he brought prosperity.
Well,
I'm going to open up life for entrepreneurs. And he did it.
Very good points. A very good reminder. Americans remember. The Democrats think maybe we're going to forget. We will not. Your work continues, of course, weekends on WABC Radio. Is that right? Is that how? And people can find
absolutely.
you. Good. And Bo Snerdley on Twitter. Saturday mornings. And also through your Twitter account, which they can find on my Twitter account as well. Great job, sir. A pleasure to finally meet you. Thanks for being here tonight.
My pleasure.
All righty. So there you go.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.